see. All right, so let me add this here. Good evening, Thurston Howard III. Good to have you here. All right, so this is for them. Okay, I think it's working. I think it's working. So we have 6 people, and that's good enough for us. Saludos, saludos to all of you. Saludos. Saludos to all of you. We'll be on shortly, guys. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the Greatest Watch Market Update Show. As you know, we are a public service watch announcement channel, serving the public and, letting the public, the awareness of what's happening out there with the watch situation, the watch channels, all these Muppet boiler room secondary gray watch market channels who have been flim-flamming you and fleecing you for too many years, And so we are a public service watch announcement, and what we ask from you guys is to don't forget to give us a thumbs up. If you would like to, please give us a thumbs up. You don't need to subscribe to this channel. We have enough subscribers already. You don't need to do that. But if you want us to, give us a thumbs up, we gladly would accept that. All right. So again, don't forget that this is the only public service watch announcement channel in YouTube. We're not afraid to use no more YouTube. We're not afraid to use no more that this channel has been totally blocked, because we have been giving you just straight knowledge and truthful things. But, it's all right. This is at least, this platform is giving us an opportunity to be able to reach 5, 10 of you, and 5, 10 of you is good enough for us, the piccolo a piccolo, small to small, we reach you guys, We have that trouble that, they throw thunder lightnings at a TV tower, antenna, and, whatever, it happens. But we accept all that because, we're here because of them, because they give us the time and they give us the platform. I'm not afraid to tell them that, they're unbelievable, but they have us on, like that. All right. So I want to start by telling you something about a precious metal materials. Precious metal materials are unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you something. I've been telling you this for some time, but we say it first, and then the rest of the herd will follow us. I've been telling you that the new gold, I've been telling you that the new gold is the white stuff. It's the white stuff. I've been telling you, Papi, for the longest. I don't care if you believe me or not, that's fine. But I've been telling you people out there that the white stuff is the new gold. Because the gold is going to be a moment there that, it's going to be kind of difficult. It's going to be difficult for us to get our hands on that because es para otro nivel, it's for another different level out there. But I've been telling you that silver will be the new gold. And there's people out there, ladies and gentlemen, that they're saying that silver, I'm not going to say that I'm 100% on with this, but they are saying that silver is going to reach a number that I wasn't expecting to hear, but I'm hearing this number. Maybe some of you out there, which are, precious, don't worry about that, Papa. But thank you so much for that number of $46.10 is a troy ounce of silver. And some people are saying the number of the silver is going to reach a number of $1,000 a troy ounce. That's what they're saying. And am I listening to them? Yeah, I'm listening to them. Do I believe them? I don't know, but things are acting very, 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 very crazy. Silver, ladies and gentlemen, is the new gold. As now as RBIs, as RBIs allow banks and NBFCS to offer loans. Listen to this so you understand where I get the number of wow, look at this. He's already saying it. You see, I'm telling you, because we have smart people in this watch channel platform. We have smart people. This gentleman right now just finished putting it down. It's you guys are too smart. You're too smart. But let me tell you this so you understand where I come with the number of $1,000. And like this a watch channel organic subscriber says himself, I'm telling you this so you guys know. Silver is the new gold. Now as RBIs allow banks and NBFCSs to offer loans against, listen to this, against, because people don't want to learn nothing, They don't want to learn. They want to continue skip hopping around through life like bunny rabbits. Silver jewelry and coins as of April 2026. Banks are going to get loans on your silver jewelry, papi. Silver jewelry and coins, coins from April 2026. La situación está caótica, I want you guys to know something. Buying silver in 2025, listen to this. Buying silver today, buying silver today in 2025 is like buying Bitcoin in 2020. Papi, those are heavy words. I don't want to tell you the people who are saying this because you're not going to believe me. And I don't want you. You do your own research. You Google it, you find out. And I'm telling you what it is, where they're getting the numbers, like one of your subscriber, Organic Watch Channel, Recovering Tomato Can just put there, $1,000 silver, platinum is the new gold, blah, 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 blah. So you know where this is heading. Buying silver in 2025 is like buying Bitcoin in the year 2020. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, don't lose the opportunity to buy something that is basically, you don't lose the opportunity to get your hands on buying a silver, okay? I'm telling you this so you understand. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to hear something that Bitcoin says. This is to get all of you dizzy, to get you all dizzy so you Michiganers, will fall into their trap. And this is the company by who I'm talking about. I'm talking about no other than J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan is unbelievable. This J.P. Morgan, they're up there. They hang out, with Bohemian Grove, saluting the owl. They hang out with the Rothschilds, Vanguard, the State Street, just people that just dealing with, billions and trillions of dollars. But this company, which I do have a lot of respect because they're the pioneers, You know what I'm trying to say, Dr. Evil. You know what I'm trying to say. So, ladies and gentlemen, JP Morgan is saying, JP Morgan says they will start, listen to this, Papi, the way these people, the plan of attack they have on us slaves, the plan of attack. I spoke to you about silver 2 times. Now I'm talking about JP Morgan says they will start accepting Bitcoin as collateral for loans. You understand what that means? Do you understand what that means? It's unbelievable. But the same day he says that, ladies and gentlemen, I took a couple of days off to relax, to see everything with better vision, because Sweet Kick, told me that I needed to rest because everything that I have said has happened. I'm just talking about silver and Bitcoin right now. Wait till I talk to you about what I really want to talk to you about. It's going to knock your socks off and blow your hair back. You got to have all ears here today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, if you want to learn something today, this is the day. I'm telling you. I'm just letting you know. And ladies and gentlemen, JP Morgan said that. And then suddenly, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know about this, again, we're talking about silver and Bitcoin. Suddenly, Bitcoin. Suddenly, JP said what he said, that they were taking as collateral, Bitcoin, and suddenly Bitcoin drops below. Bitcoin drops below $95,000, and it's dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. For the first time in 6 months, this has happened, ladies and gentlemen. This is a warning, ladies and gentlemen. This is a warning. But ladies and gentlemen, you have another one too, which is another cretin, that he deals with these people, from the Illuminati and the Masons. You know what I'm trying to say? Skulls and bones. You don't know about that kind of stuff, and you don't want to know about that kind of stuff because you want to continue hearing, who? Deputy Boxing Black Eyes. You want to hear the Walrus Fat Bastard. You want to hear, who you want to hear? You want to hear the two Toddler Body Brothers. You want to hear the two Jehovah Witness brothers. You want to hear Big Pun and Heavy D. You want to hear the Walrus Fat Bastard. That's who you want to hear, which they're selling you all wet dreams. Do you know what a wet dream is, ladies and gentlemen? I bet none of you know what a wet dream is. You don't know what a wet dream is, but that's fine. I'm stupid like that. I'll just tell you the wet dream and you Google it, and you'll find out. Ladies and gentlemen, that gentleman that I told you, from Rock Black, Rock Black, Rock Black, just deposited 34,770 ETH into Coinbase, worth 100. So you understand, to round it off, it was like 114,970,000. I'm just going to say $115 million they deposited in Coinbase. These people don't know what to do with you people out there. They don't know how to get you taken, ladies and gentlemen. This is all a wet dream, papi. It's all a wet dream. These people are selling you dreams and dreams and dreams. And ladies and gentlemen, you know, JP Morgan said that buy gold. Buy gold. JP Morgan said buy gold. Now they have him in front saying, you know, his new story, his new schnick, you know, because these people are like that, you know. JP Morgan is saying they will start accepting a Bitcoin in 2020 because, you know, this is how they work, you know. This is how they work as collateral. But now Bitcoin says always buy gold because everything else is credit, you know, credit, you know. And I'm telling you that so you know what's going on, what's happening out there. This is an attack. This is an attack. This is I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, this is an attack, you know, a hate crime against all of us. It's a hate crime, ladies and gentlemen. It's a hate crime what they have against us, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have to, you know, sharpen up, you know. I'm going to tell you something now because I'm going to change this now. I'm going to pump and dump, papi. There you go. You got it. Saludos, Aquiles. That's correct, Mr. Dr. E. That's correct. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask all of you something today. I'm going to ask you something, and it's a very serious question to you, 18 organic watch channel subscribers. Where have you heard that they say always the watch market is dead? I repeat, where have you heard the watch market is dead? I need you to tell me. I need all 19 of you to tell me where. Where have you heard it? Where have you heard constantly the watch market is dead? The watch market is dead in a backyard pool. The watch market is dead in a septic tank and smelly. Where have you heard that? No, I need to see it there. I need to see it. So I'm going to enter the show now what I'm going to talk to you about. Saludos, Alex. Where have you heard the watch market is dead for the last 4 years? You know, 4 years. And for the last 4 years, he's been saying the watch market is dead. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about something that I've been studying for the last, thank you very much, Thurston Howell III, for that beautiful name you just, you know, you put up there, the highlight, Opusntime. It's unbelievable. Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you very much to all of you. And this is where I'm going with this show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's in a big attack. It's a big attack out there with all these channels that you look at, that all of you, at one moment, you have had to see the word they are using. All these channels, you name it, and I'm going to tell you, yes, they are using our catchphrase freshly like it's a joke. The watch market is dead. The watch market is dead. The watch market is dead. 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 And you might be asking yourself, so who are these people? You know who they are. You know who they are. Well, let me just give you a little rundown here, ladies and gentlemen. Because Sweet Kikino's always analyzing everything for you people out there. You know that gentleman, ladies and gentlemen, this, you know, luxury something, the luxury guy from Australia. He looks like George Clooney looks. As George Clooney looks. You listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. George Clooney looks from over there, from the kangaroo country, kangaroo over there. Ladies and gentlemen, in his channel, he is saying like that, the watch market is dead. It's over. The watch market is dead. You know, it's unbelievable. Hollywood looks saying that the watch market is dead. You know that guy with the olive oil voice? You know, I forgot his name. What's his name again? Morgan Andy. You know, Morgan Andy with the olive oil voice. You know, with the olive oil voice that the man is getting greased up all day, every day. That guy right there, Mr. Wicked, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about because you see him. He is saying, ladies and gentlemen, my catchphrase, the watch market is dead. That's two. Two, the watch market is dead. You know the guy, ladies and gentlemen. You know that channel which is called World Luxury. World Luxury, everywhere. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's an anonymous channel. I don't know what that is, But that channel is saying the watch market is dead. That's three. The watch market is dead. Three, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this because what I'm telling you is unbelievable. You know that channel they call Watches P. Johnny. Watches P. Johnny, Put the word backwards, play with the words, and you'll get it. You're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to believe this. That channel is also saying, what are we going to do? Because the watch market is dead. A word that Sweet Kid Kino put it in neon lights. The watch market is dead. And they're all using it. You know that guy from Italy, which I call the fake Italian, flat top, monkey eyebrows? Ladies and gentlemen, if you see his channel, his thumbnail, ladies and gentlemen, todo el mundo, papá, what I've been saying for 4 years, and I'm in lockdown, but these people can use it freely now. Now they're saying, that guy, flat top, monkey eyebrows, the fake Italian, is saying that the watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Dead, ladies and gentlemen. I've given you already 5, ladies and gentlemen. 5 which are using the watch market is dead because they have to come clean. And you know who made them clean, ladies and gentlemen? No other than Sweet Kid Kino made them honest. He made them honest. I need to drink some water, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on fire. Unbelievable. Sweet Kid Kino made them honest, ladies and gentlemen. 5. Flat top monkey eyebrows, the fake Italian, is saying the watch market is dead. The George Clooney from Australia, with Hollywood looks, that guy from Australia, the kangaroos. He's saying the watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. This is too much to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Japan, Japan, man. He does analytics and he talks about prices and all that. He just went nuts and said that the watch market is dead. 6 right there, ladies and gentlemen. 6, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you this one, you're going to go unbelievable. You know that young lady over there from the UK, the United Kingdom, over there from the UK, UK. Ladies and gentlemen, help this gentleman out with who is Japan, man. Help him out, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a young lady from the UK, which I call in a sweet way Morticia. Morticia from the Addams family? That young lady, Morticia from the Addams family, is saying the word, the watch market is dead. Yes, we are live. Yes, we are live. Yes, we are. And ladies and gentlemen, Morticia is saying from the United Kingdom that the watch market is dead. What are we going to do, ladies and gentlemen? This is what that lady over there, and I think she hangs out with Papito over there from the UK. Papi, this is going bananas, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going out with 7 people, ladies and gentlemen. 7 people, ladies and gentlemen, telling you that the watch market is dead. Dead, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, there's another channel which is called, unbelievable, The Lounge Clickbait. The Lounge Clickbait. Ladies and gentlemen, they are also saying that the watch market is dead. But do you believe that not one single one of them has said, the gentleman, the crazy Latin guy from Miami that has been saying that the watch market is dead? Well, ladies and gentlemen, he is 1,000% right. The watch market is dead. Not one single person, but they are all using my catchphrase now easily with no problem. No problem whatsoever. You know why, ladies and gentlemen? Because this is the way now. Listen and learn, because you're going to learn with me for free. For it doesn't cost you nothing. This is the way they're going to be able to interject with views, views to their channels, because their channels are dead in water. Because their channels are dead in water, so they might as well join who? Sweet Kid Kino and me in saying the watch market is dead. You understand me? So they can get some kind of revenue. Some kind of revenue with views, ladies and gentlemen. We got to change this thing around. Flat top monkey eyebrows, the fake Italian, is saying the watch market is dead, so he can get some views. And you know for what else? So you guys can send them thank you chats, super chats, all those Ruby chats, so you can continue maintaining these flim flammers lifestyle, while me and Sweet Kid Kino, we get the end of the short stick. That's it. But it's simple. But you guys son lambones that you think that the head is only for hair. No sean lambones, the head is to think. And I got a thing for you guys. This is the reason they're all doing a crossover and saying the watch market is dead, so they can get some views, some money revenue, so they can get some super chats, all that stuff. No sean lambones. I've been telling you for years, and now every single one is looking for the ones that work with views. They're looking for the views now. Let's turn it around. Let's do a crossover and use the exact words that Latin guy from Miami says, that the watch market is dead. They know the watch market is dead. So they got smart and they say, we got to say that the watch market is dead. Maybe we'll get some kind of, fan base, some new subscribers, some new people. They'll dish out and give something to them, like that guy. Flat top monkey eyebrows, the fake Italian, he depends on a super chat. He depends on a thank you chat. And he's dead. He's dead in water. He's dead, ladies and gentlemen. The fever of watches is over, ladies and gentlemen. The fever of watches is over, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand. These people, there's so many channels that you won't believe this, you have the other one that I told you, ladies and gentlemen, this other channel, which is a big channel that depends on super chats, thank you chats, Ruby chats, all that stuff. All that. The name of the channel is the Lounge. Click something, and they are saying there that the watch market is dead. To bring people in, to bring new people in. No sean palomos, no sean lambones. I have to give you the whole blueprints, what they're doing to you. They need views. They need views. They need to make 1,000 views to make $5. They need to make 2,000 views to make $10. They need to make 4,000 views to make $20. You understand me? But when you have a channel like this one, which is the best channel in the world, chosen by no other than Fudinki, they get this, the blocky. We get that. But now they are all using the watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. This is sad what's happening, Papi. I've been telling you this for so long. I've been telling you the watch market is dead. And they received the memo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can sit down now y echarme aire en la polla. You know what polla is? I'm not going to tell you what polla is. You Google it. Now I can sit back and relax. I don't have to do too many shows because I got them. Lo tengo por la pelota allá. I got them. They're all using it. Every single one is using the watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm trying to say, Wicked. You know what I'm trying to say, Wicked. I give you guys the blueprints so you can go out there and attack them and tell them, you know who was the one that said this always? That guy, the Latin guy from Miami, all those 2 watch shows in Miami were dead. Dead. The 2 shows in Miami were dead. The fever of buying watches is over. It's over. Only real collectors will stay around. Like me and Sweet Kikino. The rest, lambones se van. It's over, papi. It is over. And I'm here to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you the truth, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on? What's happening? Because they need to generate revenue, views, views. This thing is stuck. They have it stuck. They don't want to give no more free money out there no more. You think they're stupid? It's over, ladies and gentlemen. So now they're looking for lambones. You don't know about that, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know about that, man. What I give you guys for free is too much. Not only do I give you what's for free, but then I give you an explanation. You go, oh shit. They need revenue. You got that war is fat bastard. The war is fat bastard, ladies and gentlemen, sitting over there trying to find a nickel and a dime so you can continue maintaining his lifestyle, his red gold fast car, shiny wheels, big fat steak. They want you to continue maintaining that. And me, what do I give you? Knowledge. Knowledge and knowledge for free, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to be talking about straps here. We're not going to be talking about unboxing a watch. Those days are over, papi. Those days are over. Who wants to hear unboxing a watch? Come on. No sean lambone. People want to hear the truth. Thank you very much for that super chat. Thank you, chat. Thank you very much, Mr. Boning. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, esto de gratis, I'm for free. Ladies, this is for free, all for free. All for free. And what do I get for free? I get this. Deep. Ladies, it's an embarrassment to see. Papi, I can keep on telling you more people. Japan man, he was very annoyed. If you hear what Japan man, he's an analytics, please help me out. Japan man, he said, ladies and gentlemen, that there's no way, and I've been telling you people this forever, but these people with a PhD degree, and they're smart people. We're not smart people. We're kind of slow. We're kind of slow people, but I've been telling you that you buy all those AP Royal Oaks, papi, they're at 50% off. And he's telling you that. And I'm going, look at this guy, Japan man. He's a maniac, He takes papers out and he says that I look at this platform, I look at that platform, the Japanese guy, Japan guy, help me out. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, Japan guy, and he talks very proper, and he says things. He's saying that AP Royal Oak watches, 50% across the table. 50%. Por eso you cannot lie no more. You cannot lie no more. You cannot continue lying no more while I get this deep. I get it deeply, ladies and gentlemen. This is the only channel with the truth, papi. This is the only channel that brings you the truth. Not only do I bring you the truth, papa. Not only do I bring you the truth, I give you an explanation why they're doing this. Because they need to get more clicks. More clicks in their bank account. Because they're not getting no more clicks. Because if you say now that the watch market is dead, then you're going to get a click. You know what I'm trying to say, Thurston Howard III? If you say now that the watch market is dead, that's going to attract people. When I would say it, for 4 years, I was all alone, so they would do this to me, a wiper. Block them, block them, block them, block them, block them. For 4 years, I'm telling you the watch market is dead, and they do this to me. Block them. Block them. If we get a power shortage, you know, and our TV antenna, don't worry about it. We'll do it another way. Another day we'll do the show. But I had to do this today because I had to study the whole thing and find out why they're using my catchphrase, the watch market is dead. If you see, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to show you something. As a matter of fact, when I tell you this, you should all leave and look at his channel. We're going to be talking about that guy, you know, from Australia with George Clooney looks. You should see the way he says the watch market is dead. Smiling and laughing because his view count is going to is moving up because that's what you guys want to hear. You guys want to hear the word, the catchphrase, the watch market is dead. The watch market is dead. And that guy over there from the kangaroo world, over there, kangaroo, you know, it's unbelievable. Hollywood looks, that guy, you know, George Clooney from Australia. He's happy because he's getting views. He's getting super chats. He's getting thank you chats. Now he's getting it using me. Using me, papi. No sean huele. Wicked, thank you very much for that super chat. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody has to tell you because you guys cannot continue sleeping in a farm, in the hay, en la paja, durmiendo las pajas. You cannot continue sleeping in the hay. Somebody has to tell you the truth. What is the plan they have on you guys? I have to tell you the truth, ladies and gentlemen, and it really hurts my feelings because I've been telling you for the longest, only I never had an open door. They locked me up. They locked me up, and they were paying. They were paying all those robots. Attack, 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 attack. And they did it, ladies and gentlemen. But then they realized, dude, where the money to be made is using the watch market is dead. The watch market's in dire straits. The watch market is crumbling. The watch market is dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants. I'm surprised that they didn't use that one. You know, I'm surprised that they didn't use that one. I'm surprised that they haven't used, oh, you sandbag crumb bums, you know, or sleeping in the hay. You understand me? Ladies and gentlemen, they use it. And listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. The only channel they will put, I don't even know how to say this, you know, but we will put the watch market is dead. We will put T, you know, capital T, capital W, the watch, capital M, the watch market, capital I, you know, the watch market is with a capital D. They're using it already, ladies and gentlemen. They're using it exactly just like that. That has been here for 4 years. None of them would dare to do it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's like a big hoopla going now. The TW, you know, the watch market is dead. You know, they're going crazy with that. But you know where they learned it from? From no other than Sweet Kid Kino, ladies and gentlemen. I had to do this video today, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm going to be honest. I don't have to do this show no more. I don't have to do this show because now they're using it to get into your bank account. You know, they're using it. They are right. They know already that the watch market is dead, but they know that there is some kind of meat left in the bone to get from you guys. But me, I've been telling you in an honest way, Papi, stop giving away your children's tuition money. Stop giving away your 401k. You know, stop giving away your wife's 401k. I've been telling you all that. Pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen, mark my word. When you hear it, you're going to go, man, this man was the one, man. This man was the one that will say, stop giving away your children's tuition money. They're going to be using it. You know, stop giving away your wife's 401k. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it, Papi. And you're going to, wow, man, that guy said it. You know, the guy he was jokeable, funny. He made it this way, that. Sandbag, crumb bums, you know, cow tippers, possum kickers, crayon eaters, window lickers, all that. They're going to use it, Papi. And they're gonna make a stack of money. They're going to make a stack of money because they have the doors open, and that's it. They're turning it around. They're turning it around. You see, you couldn't lie no more. You could not continue saying that the watch market is up and running. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. Nobody is buying watches. Those two shows, they were here in Miami this past weekend and today, yesterday and today, dead. Dead. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are lucky that you have me, papi. Lucky. And then you got these people out there now, they're using the term. Listen to this, how they get you. Es que son una gonorrea. Son gonorreas. Son gonorreas. Now they're saying now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, now that the watch market is dead, we have insight. Listen to this and learn. And papi, it varies that it's disgusting. You now that the watch market is dead, we have now inside information to our private members. $12.99, $9.99, $5.99. You know, a monthly thing. You know, you have 100,000 people, and let's say out of the 100,000, 1,000 of them are gonna pay you now. I'm telling you, $12.99 a membership, so you can hear the inside stories that I tell you for free. Because all these Michiganders come and see me, and let's pick it up and just say the same thing over there. Because these Lambones, they're not hearing what the guy is saying. Not everybody gets to hear me. Remember, I'm like this. You know, I'm like this. Ladies and gentlemen, papi, I'm telling you what's going on. You know, that's all they're doing. They're selling dealer to dealer, dealer to dealer, dealer to dealer. It's over. You got that gentleman deputy boxing black eyes, you know, making fake, you know, storylines with the other Michiganer, you know, the Warriors fat bastard talking about that he's getting greased up by talking about Hubler. You know, these people, es que son una gonorrea, son una infección en la esquina del dedo. They're an infection in the corner of your nail with green pus. You know, pus coming out, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you know what I'm trying to say. And ladies and gentlemen, they said, forget it. We're not going to beat this guy. You know, papi, do you know how much I've been bombarded? I've been bombarded like you don't understand. This channel, we've talked to many. They said, Papa, what you say there is for this thing will go everywhere and hear what you're saying. Lockdown. And now every single one, you're going to hear them say it. They're not stupid. You cannot turn your face to this. You can't. So they say, well, if I use the word, the watch market is dead. Yeah, you're gonna bring some audience to your channel because this is what people want to hear. They want to hear the truth. What I've been telling you, Lambones, for 4 years. The watch market is dead. And the watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be able to rest now because now I have all these Lambones. They're saying the watch market is dead. And all of you are going to hear it. You're going to go, man, he said it, man. He said that. He said that the watch market is dead. You know, you're going to hear pretty soon the watch market is dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. You understand me? You're going to be hearing that. But ladies and gentlemen, the funny thing is that now they're telling you, if you want inside information, just join our membership club for $12.99. Papi, you know how much the fake Italian flat top monkey eyebrows, the fake Italian charges? You want to know? Do you guys want to know, papi? It's a racket. It's a racket. A racket. He's charging people that have reached out to me $10. I don't know if it's euros. I think it's euros. You know, it's over there. You know, over there. You know, over there, Italia. You know, 10 euros they charge over there to get information. There it is. $12.99. Thank you, Doc Mink in Florida. I didn't say it. Doc Mink in Florida said it. $12.99. Ladies and gentlemen, you take, I'm gonna be just real nice about this. Nice about it. But I need your help calculating. You take, forget about that he has 200,000 fake subscribers. Let's say that a thousand of those 200,000 fake subscribers, subscribe to the membership of $12.99. So ladies and gentlemen, you go $12.99 a month times 12. One subscriber, $12.99 times 12. How much is that? How much is that? $12.99 a month times 12. How much is that? How much money is it? I don't have a calculator. I need you guys' help. Help me out. Son vagos, Kino. Son vagos. Son lambones. Okay. $155.88. Let's take 1,000. 1,000, Papa, I'm going real low. 1,000. Let's take 1,000 times $1,055.88. That's it, Papi. There it is, $12,000. $12,000. 12,000. I was being very generous and gentle with the subject. All right? So let's say the guy has 200,000. I said 1,000 only. Imagine say, let's say you get 10,000 people to pay you $12.99 a month. A month to give you perks. Perks, deep. To give you deep perks. En el orto, en el orto. Deep perks. There it is. There it is. There it is. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. That's how much money it is. And this is not the only one. Then you got the other guy, George Clooney, from Australia. From Australia. You got that guy over there, ladies and gentlemen, that he is a machine in that. He is a machine. That was just membership. Membership. These people take Ruby chats, thank you chats, super chats, acabando con todo mundo, and they learned. You know where they learned from? From no other than Sweet Kid Kino. Dude, we have to use the word the watch market is dead. We have to use it. That guy, we have him in lockdown with the robots. We have that guy in lockdown with the robots. We'll start using it. Nobody ever heard the watch market is dead. It's us. We'll have our audience because, ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest. All these people have their audience. Like I have my 28 organic watch channel subscribers. They have theirs too. They have, they have 700, 500 watching them live, and not only getting that membership, but getting a $20, a $10, a $5, a $2, $1.99, a quarter, $50, $100. This is crazy. They're getting that. So they realize we must do a crossover because this shit ain't working out no more. This shit ain't working out no more. We're not making no money. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something because you're going to hear it from me because I can tell you. These last 3 months has been the worst for any watch channel, content creator. Dead. You understand me? Because that's it. La fiebre, the fever is over. You have to come along with a new catchphrase. Like that guy, the guy from Black Rock. What's his name? The guy from Black Rock? Every day he changes. Or the other guy that says that he never gets nothing right. The one that says rich boy, young rich boy, poor boy. The Chinese guy that he says, every day he says something, but everything is wrong. He never gets it right. But every day he changes it to make more money in you guys. That guy, rich, poor man, rich man, he's from Japan too. He's unbelievable. He buys oil. You know what I'm trying to say. You know? And I laugh when I see this guy. Esto es así. And this is what they're getting you. But now I'm beating them to the punchline. Now they're going to be saying, man, he opened his mouth again. That guy, Finky. You know, Finky. That's Finky. But there's another guy too, Dr. E. He's Chinese guy, you know. He writes, poor rich boy, poor man, rich man. You know what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. Help me out. That guy, Kawasaki. Yeah, that guy. You know, eso es increíble. You know, it's unbelievable. But I wanted to tell you all this so you know what's going on. Who is the, you know, the genius of all this. Ladies and gentlemen, you must give him credit. You know, you must give credit to Joaquin. Joaquin to you, Kino to me. Kino's unbelievable. The things Kino does. You know, his mindset. You know, it's brilliant. Kawasaki, you know, that guy Kawasaki, he says every day something, you know, every day. It's a lie. He never gets nothing right, but he's a multi-billionaire, you know, and this is what's happening. These people are getting creative. They got to stop saying that the watch market is up and running when it's dead. When it's dead in a backyard pool and floating face down like this. You know how long this watch market is dead like this? I've been doing this for the last easy 4 years. Dead. In a backyard pool. You know what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you again, I don't need to do that many videos no more because they're using already my catchphrase. And like they say, you know, those singers, you know, they're not the best singers in the world, but they're, you know, composers. They write real well. They write and they make a fortune writing, you know. Well, me, I wrote the, you know, Sweet Kid Kino wrote the watch market is dead and we're not getting any kind of royalty and that's fine. But you guys are hearing it now because they're changing the plot around on you lambones. But don't fall for the trick of $12.99 for perks. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that, ladies and gentlemen. Están pasando hambre. It's a critical time. Jingle Bells is here. Jingle Bells is here. The turkey is around the corner. The turkey's around the corner. And they see there's no money, papi. These people live off this, papi. You see, I live in what I do for a living. But these people live off this. And they realize we're in trouble. We're in trouble. This is not working no more. Forget about the memo that Deputy Boxing Black Eyes sends out. Forget about him. We're going to die of hunger. Because they're still saying, you know, Deputy Boxing Black Eyes, the Walrus Fat Bastard, the two toddler body brothers. You understand me? Feet happy. Feet happy. You know, the two brothers. A Night at the Roxbury. One is smart, one is introverted. You know, you understand me? They hang around with, you know, toupee wig man. They're still saying that the watch market is up and running. And like the other guy over there, from the other side over there in Dubai, you know, the Iron Sheik tunic man, you know, with the tunic, you know, dress and the thing in the hat, you know, like that around. He's saying that the watch market is doing well. And his new protege, Harry Potter. You know Harry Potter? You know Harry Potter? Yeah, Dumb and Dumber, that one too. Harry Potter, he's over there. He made a crossover from the UK over there with him, you know? Papi, they'll take off your socks off. You know, they'll take off your socks off without taking off your shoes over there in that side of town. I know what I'm telling you. You know what I'm talking about, Achilles. You know what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all for free, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I'm just letting you know all this because you needed to know all about this. You know, you needed to know this, papi. Let me tell you, I'm telling you one more time. I wanted to stick in your head. I wasn't going to do no live stream, nothing. I said, for what? You know, these people already, they got the memo. They got Sweet Kid Kino's memo that the watch market is dead. Papi, they're hurting. They're hurting, papi. They don't have no more soap to take a bath, you know? They don't have no more soap. You know, it's over. No hay más jabón, papi. La cosa está jodida. La cosa está jodida. Está jodida. You know, so I don't, you know, I have a watch market here, but I don't feel like giving it to you guys. I don't feel like giving it to you. I don't feel like giving it to you. I'm gonna keep on telling you this. If you want to invest in something, look into. I'm not telling you to buy. Look into silver before it gets far away from you guys. Look into silver because you haven't seen the fireworks of this. You have not seen the fireworks of this. You know, Bobby, there's still people in my channel. There's still people in this channel that leave me messages that you say, oh my God, they're in denial. They are in denial, saying the watch market is not dead. The watch market is not dead. Bobby, to see the watch market where it was once at one time, Bobby, that's like wishing for another Corona Bia era to come around. That's like wishing for another Hurricane Andrew to come around. That's not going to happen, Bobby. Tiene que romperte las nalgas trabajando. You need to break your buttocks working. That's the only truth, Bobby. It's over, man. This is dead. How you ask yourself, but how do you know, Juan? Well, I have a channel. I can see everything the way it's moving around. I can see every memo that they sent out. Y esto está jodido. You know, over there, they send you the memo. Papi, está jodido, papi. You can fool some people sometimes, but you cannot fool all the people all the time, man. You cannot. Let me tell you something one more time. That flat top monkey eyebrows, the fake Italian, papi, he depends on that, man. He depends on your quarters and nickels and dimes. He depends on that. He depends on that. This guy lives in a 75 square foot apartment. Nothing wrong with that. Because to live over there, you know, eso vale billete. You know, you move around, you know, little water boats, you know. I'm just telling you what it is, man. You know, you guys should say, man, Juan, I don't know how you figure it out, but you figure it out, papi. They went that way. Listen to me. There's more than this. There's more than this. But when you hear a guy like that guy, Morgan Andy, you know, Morgan Andy, that guy is greased up by every watch, you know, company out there that talks about it, you know. He's what am I doing? Because the views start dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in a Arkansas farmhouse. You know, papi, he knows already. And Japan guy doesn't get greased up from nobody, right? But he reminds me of one of those troopers, you know, he's mad, you know. Does anybody know who I'm talking about, the Japan guy? You know, he talks very good English. And, you know, so I do it this way and I break it down. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, AP Royal Oak, 50% across the table. 50% across the table. He says there's no money there. There's no money there. You try to get one of your AP Royal Oak stainless steel 15400 and go sell it. See what they're going to give you for it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a watch market update because I'm going to go to bed. I'm tired. My body aches. You know, I'm weak. I'm going to give you a watch market update on this watch. Things are so bad that there's a watch called Rolex, stainless steel, you know, with a chicken coop white dial. I repeat, with a chicken coop white dial, you know, this Land Dweller, 36 millimeter, Land Dweller, 36 millimeter, ladies and gentlemen. You're just not gonna believe this, you know? You're not gonna believe me. Reference number 127334. 127334. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. And if they're offering you that watch, don't pay for that watch more. You ready? You do whatever you want. You heard it first here. Don't pay for that watch more than $20,500. La situación está jodida, papi. Things are bad out there. I'm talking to you guys today with my heart. I'm just letting you know. Guys, I hope you enjoy this Watch Market Update show. You learned something, all right? You learned something. I taught you that every single channel is using the watch market is dead. Because they're making money off you already. You should see their count views. You should see my count views. And I salute. And nothing. Papi, the money they were spending on this channel, on attacking with robots, is unbelievable. That's what I got to tell you. That's what I got to tell you. You do whatever you want, papi. You want to buy that watch, you go to their counter. You go to the counter, you look at them, and you go like this to them. I want that land dweller. I got $20,500 in my pocket. No hay dinero ya, papi. This is worse. This is worse than when the Corona era crashed. This is worse. Papi, this is worse. I don't even want to get into politics no more. I don't want to get into politics. It's pa' qué? Pa' qué? I already told you everything today. Have a good night, guys. Be well. Take care and brush your hair. Good night.